In every land and tradition, there have been those who carry a presence beyond words, true saints, bodhisattvas, and the humblest of the sacred. Some radiate peace, others bear the weight of suffering, but both are unmistakable to those who still see with pure eyes. Holiness does not always manifest in ways the world expects. Some shine, but not with the brightness of the sun. Their glow is something felt rather than seen, a warmth that eases suffering, a presence that bends the air around them into something softer. They do not command attention, yet children and animals move toward them as if drawn by an unseen current. Children, untouched by the cynicism of age, recognize this light without needing to be told. They do not hesitate to run to the feet of the glowing ones, seeking their presence as instinctively as they seek warmth in winter. Animals, unburdened by reason, do the same. They gather around those who carry peace within them, sensing the deep harmony they radiate. Then there are those who stink of the holy. These are not the gentle lights of the world, but the ones who have been through fire, who have carried pain and emerged changed. Their holiness is not soft, but raw, jagged, filled with the weight of transformation. They do not walk untouched. They bear scars, inside and out, from battles that reshaped them into something sacred. This scent of the holy is not physical, yet it clings to them. It is the lingering presence of suffering turned to wisdom, of grief transfigured into something greater. It is the mark of one who has faced the depths of existence and survived, not unscathed, but reborn. And just as children and animals flock to the glow, they also press near to those who carry this scent. A child will not recoil from the ragged hermit, from the beggar who prays with an open heart, from the prophet who has spent years in the wilderness. A stray dog will rest its head beside the feet of the weary monk, trusting without reason. The world may call these people outcasts, but those who have not yet learned to ignore the truth see them for what they are. Many faiths and legends tell of this. Saints who walked through fire and emerged with voices that soothed even the wildest creatures. Bodhisattvas who renounced power and instead offered their hands to the suffering. Humble ones who, despite having nothing, carried something greater than wealth, something that could not be measured but only felt. It is not a matter of belief, nor of learning. The young and the wild do not ask for proof. They do not debate holiness or argue over doctrine. They simply know. They follow the glow without question, and they rest beside those who carry the weight of divine hardship, without fear. The world may forget. Many who once saw will lose their sight as they grow, blinded by the noise of daily life. But some will remember. Some will seek that presence again, drawn back to the ones who shine or the ones who stink of something ancient and true. And so it has always been. The glow and the scent of the holy remain unshaken by time, recognized not by the mighty, but by the smallest and the least. Why darkness fears the holy. Throughout history, the truly sacred have not only drawn the innocent and the pure, they have also repelled the corrupt, the cruel, and those who feast on darkness. Just as light calls forth children and animals, it drives away those who cannot bear its presence. The wicked do not simply avoid the holy, they are repulsed by it, as though standing too close to such radiance threatens to unmake them. Evil is not always loud. It festers in shadows, in whispers, in places where truth is bent and twisted. It thrives on deception, on power stolen through fear, on the slow erosion of what is good. When such forces come near the truly holy, they recoil, not because they are overpowered, but because they are exposed. The glowing ones move through the world without force, without arrogance, yet their very presence unsettles those who have built their existence on lies. The wicked feel naked in their light, as if every deception, every cruelty, every hidden rot is suddenly laid bare. They rage at this, spitting venom and mockery, but they will not linger. They cannot. The ones who stink of holiness unsettle them even more. Those who have suffered, who have walked through torment and emerged with sacred scars, are a direct affront to those who wield pain as a weapon. The wicked see them and feel disgust, revulsion, not because they are weak, but because they have endured suffering without becoming like them. This is a truth darkness cannot stand. Wherever saints and sages have walked, those who delight in cruelty have shunned them. The wicked sneered at Christ and cursed the prophets. They ridiculed the monks who renounced power, fearing what such humility revealed about their own hunger for control. They called the bodhisattvas fools for forsaking wealth and comfort, for choosing to lift others instead of themselves. It is not a matter of belief. The darkness does not need to recognize holiness to be driven away by it. Just as animals do not question why they feel safe near the sacred, the corrupt do not need to understand why they loathe its presence. They only know that it unsettles them, that it makes them feel weak, that it demands they look at themselves, and so they lash out or flee. The reaction is always the same. Some sneer and scoff, trying to stain the sacred with mockery. Others grow violent, seeking to destroy what reminds them of what they lack. And many simply turn away, unable to endure what they do not wish to understand. Darkness is not merely opposed to light. It fears it, for light reveals the things it wishes to keep hidden. And so the pattern holds. The pure and the innocent draw near. The wicked and the false turn aside, snarling, shrinking, or slipping away into the shadows. The holy do not seek to drive them out. Their existence alone is enough. For where truth stands, falsehood cannot thrive. Where love endures, cruelty wilts, and where the sacred walks, the profane cannot follow. The sacred cannot be bought. Throughout history, those who are truly holy, those who glow with divine presence, or who bear the sacred scars of suffering, have never charged for what was given to them freely. They do not sell wisdom, nor do they place a price on blessings. The gifts they carry are not their own. They flow through them, not from them. To demand payment for what is sacred would be to corrupt it, to twist something pure into something tainted by greed. The holy understand this because they know the source of their power is not themselves. The wisdom they share, the healing they offer, the peace they bring, it does not belong to them, and so they do not claim it as something to sell. It is like the sun refusing to charge for its light, or a river demanding payment for its water. What comes from the divine cannot be owned, only received. Those who glow with the light of holiness, who walk in peace and grace, do not desire wealth. They see money for what it is, a tool of the world, useful for survival, but meaningless in matters of the soul. To them, true riches are found in the spirit, in the deep connection to what is beyond this fleeting existence. They know that the moment they begin to sell what was given freely, they risk severing themselves from that source. The ones who stink of holiness, those who have suffered, who have been broken and remade, know the cost of true wisdom. They did not buy it, nor did they inherit it. They earned it through trials, through hardship, through pain that could not be measured in coin. They understand that suffering is its own teacher, and no price could be placed on what it has taught them. Throughout time, the greatest saints, prophets, and sages have refused to sell their gifts. Christ overturned the tables of the money changers, rejecting the idea of faith being turned into profit. The bodhisattvas, despite their infinite wisdom, gave freely, asking for nothing in return. The desert mystics, the wandering ascetics, the humble healers of every tradition, they all understood that what is holy cannot be sold without becoming corrupt. But those who do not understand this, those who seek to profit from the sacred, turn it into something lesser. The moment a price is set, the purity of the gift is diminished. It ceases to be a blessing and becomes a transaction, a thing of the world rather than of the divine. And those who charge for it often find in time that the flow of true grace withers in their hands. It is not that the holy do not need food, shelter, or clothing. Many live in poverty, relying on the kindness of others. But even when they accept help, they do not demand payment for what they give. They trust that the divine, which provides wisdom and grace, will also provide for their needs in ways they cannot predict. The world does not understand this. It believes everything must have a price, that nothing of value can be given freely. But those who walk with the sacred know otherwise. They have seen that the greatest gifts, love, truth, enlightenment, are beyond price. And so they continue to give, without expectation, without demand, knowing that what flows through them was never theirs to keep. And so the pattern remains. The sacred give freely, the corrupt sell what is not theirs. And those who seek truth must learn to tell the difference. When the corrupted enter the haunted realm. When those with corrupted hearts, Those whose souls have become hollow or whose intentions are tainted enter a place haunted by spirits of the dead or by demonic forces. Something ancient and inevitable occurs. They do not simply walk into the realm of the departed. They disturb it, provoke it, and awaken something far darker than themselves. The spirits that linger in haunted spaces are not always the souls of the lost or the wronged, though some may be. Many are remnants, echoes of those who have lived, died, and become bound to the earth through grief, rage, or unfinished business. But to those who carry darkness within them, those who approach with ego, greed, or fear, the spirits sense a kindred energy. They do not merely notice the corrupt, they react. The living who enter with tainted intentions often feel an immediate shift in the atmosphere. The air grows colder, heavier, as if the very place resents their presence. The spirits, restless and protective of their domain, begin to stir, drawn to the intrusion. Some may feel a deep unease, a dread that comes not from any physical danger but from the presence of something darker, something that should not be in this sacred space. Those with hollow souls, or who feed on fear, will often find themselves provoked by unseen forces. Their arrogance, their unhealed wounds, or their callousness towards the dead can cause them to lash out. In return, the spirits, angry, confused, or vengeful, may strike back, their energies shifting into something more potent and dangerous. It is not always the spirits of the dead who are the most dangerous, but rather the demonic forces that watch from the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. The demonic are not bound by the same laws as the dead. They are ancient, malevolent, and draw their strength from the unclean, the corrupt, the broken. When the wicked enter these realms, they act as beacons, attracting darker forces. The demonic, ever hungry for souls and for chaos, latch on to those with hollow hearts, feeding on their fear, their anger, and their inner turmoil. For those who enter with corrupt intent, the experience can be overwhelming. It is as if the very fabric of reality begins to twist and warp, reflecting the inner rot that they carry. The spirits of the dead may claw at their minds, attempting to wake them from their ignorance or to punish them for disturbing the sacred peace. But the true danger lies in the demonic forces, which prey upon weakness, temptation, and fear, using it to drive their victims to madness or despair. The deeper the corruption within, the more intense the reaction from the spirits and the demonic. Those with unresolved traumas or unhealed wounds may find their darkest fears brought to life, manifesting as apparitions, whispers, or physical sensations. The more they resist or react with anger, the stronger the forces become, until it feels as though the very space itself is closing in on them. In extreme cases, if the darkness within the intruder is great enough, they may become lost in the haunted space, trapped in a loop of their own suffering, manipulated by the demonic until their will is broken. The spirits may not always claim their soul, but the demonic will feast on them, driving them to madness, despair, or destruction. And so, when those with corrupted hearts enter the domain of the dead and the demonic, they do not simply encounter the past, they invite chaos, they provoke anger, and they become targets for forces far beyond their understanding. They are not allowed to remain untouched, for their very presence disrupts the delicate balance of the spiritual realm. In this way, the haunted places protect themselves, not with shields or walls, but through the deep, resonant power of those who refuse to acknowledge their own darkness. When the holy enter the haunted realm. When someone who carries the scent of the holy or glows with divine light enters a place that is haunted by spirits or demonic forces, the effect is fundamentally different than when the corrupted enter. The presence of the sacred, whether it be the soft glow of inner peace or the weighty, transformative scent of suffering transfigured, serves as both a balm and a challenge to the energies that dwell in these realms. The spirits that linger in haunted spaces, whether they are lost souls, confused echoes, or those bound by unfinished business, immediately sense the difference. They do not feel threatened by the sacred presence, nor do they feel a need to lash out in anger. Instead, there is a profound recognition, a deep awareness that something pure has entered their domain. The glow of holiness does not just illuminate the space, it cleanses it. Even if the spirits have lingered for years, perhaps centuries, their presence begins to soften in the light of divine purity. They may not understand the nature of the light they encounter, but they recognize it as something higher, something that calls them toward peace, toward release. For those spirits who are trapped in the liminal space between life and death, the holiness serves as a reminder of what they have lost. The glow invites them to move on, to pass beyond the veil. The scent of the holy, too, carries the weight of suffering, but it is a suffering that has found redemption, a reminder that even in torment there is healing, even in pain there is grace. These energies can soften the hardest of spirits, easing their fear or regret and urging them toward release. But the true effect is on the demonic forces that may be present in the haunted space. The demonic are drawn to corruption, to fear, and to chaos, but they are repelled by the light. The closer the sacred being comes to them, the more uncomfortable they become. They recoil, not because they fear physical harm, but because the very essence of holiness dissolves the darkness they thrive in. They cannot abide in a space that is being purified by such a force. This effect is not always immediate. Demons may attempt to resist, feeding on fear, doubt, or even the Holy One's own insecurities. But the closer the sacred presence moves to the heart of their dominion, the more their power begins to wane. Like shadows fleeing before the dawn, they cannot withstand the radiance of one who is aligned with the divine. The true test of the sacred in such a place, however, is not the spirits or the demonic forces alone. It is the trial within. Those who carry the glow of holiness or the scent of sacredness must face the darkness within themselves as well. Haunted places can stir unresolved emotions, unhealed wounds, and deep-rooted fears. The Holy One who enters must be prepared to face these internal battles, for they may encounter their own shadows in the process of cleansing the space. But even in this, the Sacred One is not alone. The light that they carry will guide them through. Their connection to the divine, their inner peace, their humility, they are all part of the protection they carry. It is not the strength of their will that conquers the darkness, but the purity of their being. In this way, the holy become agents of healing, not only for the spirits who linger in the haunted space, but for the place itself. And so, when the glowing or the fragrant enter a haunted space, they do not simply walk through as mere visitors. They become channels for transformation. The spirits feel the pull toward the light, the demons are forced to retreat, and the entire environment begins to shift. In the presence of the sacred, the space itself becomes holy once again, a place where the dead can rest, where the demons are banished, and where peace is restored.